I will not rush you into comfort, because what is happening around your life right now is not random, and you can feel it, even in the quiet moments when no one is speaking to you. There is a stirring in your spirit that you have not been able to explain, a gentle pressure in your chest, a knowing that something has shifted beyond what your eyes can see. You have tried to ignore it, to call it imagination, to move on with your routine. But it keeps returning, softly, persistently, like a whisper that refuses to fade. I am speaking to you now, not to confuse you, but to bring clarity to what your soul already senses. There has been a moment, very recent, where your name was spoken without your presence, not in conversation, not by coincidence, but in a vision that was allowed by God. Your destiny partner has seen your name not clearly like text on a screen, but clearly enough that their spirit reacted before their mind could understand. Since that moment, something inside them has not been the same. You think connection begins when two people meet, but heaven does not operate that way. Before meeting happens in the physical, alignment happens in the spiritual before hands touch. Names are written before eyes recognize each other. Souls are introduced. This is why the scripture says, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee." Jeremiah 1-5. God does not wait for time to introduce what he has already established outside of time. So, when I tell you that your name has been seen, I am not speaking of a small coincidence. I am speaking of divine recognition. You have been asking God quietly, sometimes not even with words. You have asked in moments of loneliness. You have asked when you saw others finding love, and you wondered if your story would ever unfold. You have asked when you felt unseen, when you questioned if someone could ever truly understand you, and heaven did not ignore you even when you felt silence. There was movement even when nothing seemed to change. Alignment was taking place. Your destiny partner did not just see your name, they felt something when they saw it. A pull, curiosity, a peace mixed with confusion, because when God reveals something before its time, the human mind struggles to interpret what the spirit already knows. They may have woken up from that moment, unsure of what they experienced. They may have tried to forget it, to move on, to distract themselves, but your name, steadied, echoed in their thoughts. Sid appeared again, in unexpected ways, not loudly, but consistently. You have also experienced something similar, though you may not have connected it. There have been moments where you felt drawn to someone you have not met, moments where you imagined a connection that felt too real to be random, moments where your heart softened without a clear reason. That was not your mind creating stories. That was your spirit responding to something already in motion. The Bible says, in Ecclesiastes 3:11, "He hath made everything beautiful in his time, not in your time, not in their time, but in his time." And what you are feeling right now is the tension between promise and manifestation. You are not waiting because you are forgotten. You are waiting because timing is being protected. There are things in you that are still being refined. There are things in them that are still being aligned. If you were to meet too soon, you would not recognize each other correctly. You would see with your wounds instead of your purpose. You would react from fear instead of truth. So God allows distance, not as punishment, but as preparation. Your destiny partner has also been through battles you do not fully understand. They have questioned love, they have doubted themselves, they have faced moments where they almost gave up on the idea that something real could exist, and yet that vision interrupted their doubt. It was not long, it was not detailed, but it was enough to plant a seed that could not be removed. Now they are in a process they cannot fully explain. They feel guided, but they do not know where. They feel expectant, but they do not know why. They feel as if something is coming, but they cannot name it. And the reason they cannot name it is because your story is not yet meant to be fully revealed. The scripture says, in Proverbs 3-5, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding." This is not only for you, this is for both of you, because understanding will come after alignment, not before. You have been trying to make sense of delays. You have been trying to interpret silence. You have been trying to find answers in places that were never meant to explain what God is doing. But what is divine cannot always be explained. While it is still unfolding, there are unseen arrangements. Happening paths are being adjusted. Decisions are being influenced. Places you will go are being prepared. In advance encounters are being orchestrated with precision. Nothing about this connection will be accidental even. The moment you meet will carry a weight you cannot ignore. There will be a familiarity that feels both new and remembered, a calm that does not require effort, a recognition that goes deeper than appearance or words. But before that moment, there is a necessary space, a space where both of you are being positioned, a space where distractions are being removed, a space where clarity is being formed. You have noticed changes in yourself. You are no longer drawn to the same things. You are no longer entertained by the same conversations. You are no longer willing to settle for what once felt acceptable. That is not coincidence, that is preparation, because what is coming requires a different version of you, a version that is not desperate, version that is not chasing, a version that is not afraid of being alone. You are being shaped into someone who can receive, not just desire. Your destiny partner is also being changed. Their standards are shifting, their perspective is evolving, their heart is becoming more open, but also more discerning. They are being taught what truly matters, so that when you appear, they will recognize you beyond surface attraction. The Bible says in Psalm 37-23, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord." This includes steps you do not see. This includes detours that do not make sense. This includes delays that feel unnecessary. Every step is intentionally. May feel impatient. You may feel impatient. You may wonder why things have not happened, yet you may question if this message is even real. But doubt does not cancel what God has already written. Vision your destiny partner had was not given to confuse them, it was given to prepare them, and just as their spirit received a glimpse, your spirit is receiving confirmation. You are not imagining this. You are not reaching for something that does not exist. There is someone who is already being aligned with you, not perfectly, not without flaws, but perfectly for your journey. And when the moment comes, it will not feel forced. It will not feel uncertain. It will not feel like something you have to convince yourself about. It will feel right, not because everything is easy, but because everything is aligned. Until that moment, your responsibility is not to search endlessly. Your responsibility is to become steady, to become grounded, to become aware of your own worth, because you cannot receive what you are not ready to value. This connection is not about completing you, it is about walking with someone who meets you where God has brought you, and that requires strength. It requires patience. It requires trust. You are closer than you think, even if there is no visible evidence, yet things are already mengia. Name has already been spoken in a place you were not physically present, and what has been initiated in the spirit will not remain unseen forever. Stay steady, stay open, stay aligned, because what is coming is not random, it is written, and it will find you at the exact moment you are ready to receive it. You have been measuring time in days and months, but what is unfolding around you is not limited to your calendar. There are movements happening in moments you never notice. Decisions being made that you will never trace back. Small changes that seem ordinary, but are quietly guiding both of you toward the same point, and you keep asking yourself, why now? Why does it feel different now? Why is there this weight in your heart that is not sadness, not fear, but something deeper? Something almost expectant. That feeling is not without purpose, is the awareness that something has already begun. Are not at the beginning anymore. You are in the middle of something that started without your permission. God does not always ask when He initiates alignment. He moves when the time is right, not when you are ready, and sometimes readiness is formed after the process begins. There are things you have released recently, things you once held tightly, people you once believed were part of your future dreams. you once thought defined your path, and now, when you look back, you see how naturally they fell away, not with chaos, not with destruction, but with a quiet understanding that they no longer belonged, that was not lost, that was clearing, because when something real is being prepared, space must be made, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You cannot carry old attachments into a new alignment. They would distort what is meant to be clear, and your destiny partner has also been releasing, even if they do not understand why. They have felt the distance from things that once satisfied them. They have questioned connections that once seemed enough. They have walked away from situations that no longer felt right, and each step they took was not random. It was leading them away from what could not hold them, and toward what willful vision they had of your name. Did not come into an empty life, came into a moment of transition, a moment where they were already being shifted, and that is why it stayed with them, because it did not interrupt comfort, it confirmed change. There is something you must understand: recognition does not always come with explanation. They do not fully know why your name matters, but they know it doesn't, that knowing is enough to guide them forward, even when they cannot see the full picture. This is how faith operates, not by revealing everything at once, but by giving just enough to move one step further. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." You are both walking in that space right now, holding onto something you cannot fully explain, trusting something you cannot yet touch, and this is where many people turn back, because uncertainty feels uncomfortable, because waiting feels heavy, because the unknown feels unsafe. But what is being built here cannot be sustained by certainty alone. It must be sustained by trust. You have asked for something real, not temporary, not shallow, not something that fades when it is tested, and what you asked for requires a different kind of process, a deeper preparation, a slower unfolding, because anything built quickly can collapse just as fast. But what is established with intention will remain, even when it is challenged, even when it is stretched. You are not being delayed, you are being anchored, so that when this connection comes into your life, it will not shake you, it will not confuse you, it will not make you question your value. It will meet you in a place of stability, and that stability is being formed right now, in your patience, in your restraint, in your willingness to wait without full understanding. You are learning to stand without needing constant reassurance. 2. Believe without needing visible proof. 2. Remain open without becoming desperate, and that is not easy. There have been moments where you felt tired, moments where you questioned if waiting was even worth it, moments where you considered settling just to avoid the silence, but something in you held back, something in you refused to move forward with what did not feel right. That was not hesitation, that was discernment. You are being taught to recognize what aligns with you and what does not, so that when your destiny partner appears, you will not overlook them, you will not dismiss them, you will not confuse them with something familiar but incorrect, because familiarity can be deceptive. It can make you feel comfortable with what is not meant for you, but alignment feels different. It does not just comfort you, it confirms you. At destiny partner will not feel like a repetition of your past. They will feel like a progression, a continuation of what you have been growing into, not a return to what you have already outgrown. And difference will be clear, not immediately in every detail, but clearly enough that you will not ignore it. There will be a not dramatic, not overwhelming, but significant, where something inside you recognizes them, and in that moment you will understand why everything unfolded the way it did, but you are not there yet. That is important, because anticipation is not meant to rush fulfillment, it is meant to prepare your awareness. Right now, you are becoming more attentive, more present, more aware of what you feel and why you feel it, and that awareness will guide you when the time comes. There will be no need to chase, no need to convince, no need to prove your worth, because what is aligned does not require force, it requires presence. Your destiny partner is not searching for perfection, they are being guided toward truth, and truth does not hide behind performance. It reveals itself through consistency. They will see you as you aren't as you try to appear, and that will be enough. But until that moment arrives, you must remain where you aren't physically, but internally you must remain grounded in your process. You must continue to grow without attaching your growth to their arrival. Because your journey is not dependent on them and their journey is not dependent on you. You are both moving toward a meeting point, but you must arrive there as individuals who are whole enough to stand on your own, not as people looking to be completed, but as people ready to walk together. This is not about finding someone to fill a gap. It is about meeting someone who complements what already exists, and that requires balance. It requires maturity. It requires clarity, and all of that is being formed. Now you are not waiting in emptiness, you are waiting in preparation. Every moment of stillness is shaping you. Every moment of uncertainty is strengthening you. Every moment of patience is aligning you. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening. You are closer than you realize, but closeness is not measured by distance. It is measured by readiness, and readiness cannot be rushed. So do not look at the silence and assume absence. Do not look at the delay and assume denial. Do not look at the unknown and assume nothing is coming, because something has already begun. Your name has already crossed the boundary between unseen and known. It has already reached the awareness of someone who is being guided toward you, and just as they are moving, you are moving. Even if your paths have not crossed yet, they are converging slowly, precisely, intentionally. There will be no confusion when it happens, not because everything will be perfect, but because everything will make sense. Until that moment, you are being asked to trust what you cannot yet confirm, to believe in what you cannot yet see, to remain steady in what you cannot yet touch, because what is meant for you is not lost. It is not delayed beyond its time. It is not forgotten. It is being prepared on. When preparation is complete, movement will follow, not forced, not rushed, but certain. So remain where you are becoming. Remain in the place where your growth is still unfolding. Remain in the space where your understanding is still expanding, because what is coming will meet you there, not before, not after, but exactly there. And when it does, you will not need to question it. You will not need to chase it. You will not need to prove it. You will recognize it, because your spirit has already been introduced to it long before your eyes will ever see it. There are things you have not told anyone, thoughts you kept to yourself because they felt too deep, too personal, too difficult to explain. Moments where you sat in silence and questioned your own path, not because you were lost, but because you were changing in ways you could not describe, and you wondered if anyone would ever truly understand the version of you that is still forming. That question did not go unheard. It reached beyond your awareness. It became part of what is guiding this connection, because you are not being aligned with someone who only understands your surface. You are being aligned with someone who can recognize your depth, even the parts you have not fully accepted yet. Your destiny partner is not being prepared to meet the version of you that performs. They are being prepared to meet the version of you that is real, and that requires both of you to release what is not authentic, to let go of the need to appear a certain way, to stop shaping yourselves for acceptance, and to begin standing in truth. This is why the process has felt uncomfortable at times, because truth is not always easy to face. It asks you to be honest about what you want, honest about what you deserve, honest about what you will no longer tolerate. That honesty creates separation, not because you are losing something valuable, but because you are stepping away from what cannot grow with you. You have felt that distance in conversations that no longer feel aligned, in environments that no longer bring you peace, connections that feel forced instead of natural, and instead of ignoring it, you have begun to acknowledge it, even when it was difficult, even when it meant standing alone. That is not weakness, that is clarity, because the connection that is coming into your life will not require you to shrink. It will not require you to adjust your truth. It will not require you to become someone else to be accepted. Will meet you where you aren't, grow with you as you continue to evolve. But before that can happen, You must fully accept yourself, as you are now, not as you were, not as you think you should be, but as you are in this moment. Because if you cannot stand in your own truth, you will not recognize it when it stands in front of you. Your destiny partner is learning the same lesson. They are being confronted with their own patterns, their own fears, their own expectations. They are being asked to release what is not real, to stop chasing what only looks right, and to begin seeking what feels right. That shift is not easy. It requires them to question what they once believed about love, to let go of what they thought they needed, and to open themselves to something deeper, something more grounded, something more aligned. That is why the vision of your name came when it did not earlier, not later, but at a moment where they were ready to receive it, even if they did not fully understand it, because readiness is not about having all the answers. It is about being open to what you do not yet know, and they are open now more than they have ever been before, not completely free of doubt, not completely certain of the future, but willing to move forward without needing to control every outcome, and that willingness is what allows alignment to continue. There are moments ahead that have already been set into motion, places you will go without realizing why, decisions you will make that will seem simple will lead to something significant, counters that will feel ordinary at first, but will carry deeper meaning. All of these moments are connected, even if you cannot see how. You are not moving through random experiences. You are moving through a guided path. Every step is positioning you. Every choice is narrowing the distance. Every moment is bringing clarity, but clarity does not always come before movements. Sometimes it comes after you take the step. That is why you have felt led to do things without fully understanding why you suddenly felt the need to change something, why you walked away from something that once felt stable, why you chose a different direction without a clear explanation. Those were not impulsive decisions, they were guided shifts, and you followed them, even when it was uncomfortable, even when it did not make sense, even when it required trust. That is why you are where you are now. Behind, not lost, but exactly where you need to be. Your destiny partner is also being guided in different ways through different experiences, but toward the same alignment, and there will come a point where those paths intersect, not by force, not by chance, but by design, and when that moment comes, there will be a recognition that goes beyond logic, a sense that this meeting was not just an event, but a continuation, as if something that began long ago is now becoming visible, because connection does not begin when people meet. It begins when God decides, and what he decides cannot be undone by time or distance. Isaiah YP says, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen, not you, Nat. Then but him, and his timing is not influenced by your impatience. It is not accelerated by your desire, is not delayed by your doubt. It moves according to purpose, and purpose is never rushed. So when you feel that urgency rising within you, when you feel the need to know, to see, to understand, return to stillness, not to suppress your desire, but to center your trust, because what is meant for you does not require constant searching. It requires alignment, and alignment happens in stillness, in awareness, in trust. You are not being asked to do more, you are being asked to remain, to stay grounded in what is being formed within you, to continue becoming without forcing outcomes, to trust that what has already begun will continue to unfold. There is nothing you need to chase, nothing you need to prove, nothing you need to secure, because what is written cannot be taken away, and what has been revealed, even in part, will not be forgotten. Your name has already been carried into the awareness of someone who is being guided toward you, not by accident, not by imagination, but by intention. And just as they are moving closer, you are moving closer. You then, now, even in this moment, even without seeing it, things are aligning. The distance is narrowing, the timing is approaching, but there is still more to be formed, more to be understood, more to be strengthened. So do not rush what is still unfolding. Not try to reach what is still being prepared. Do not attempt to force what is meant to arrive naturally, because when it comes, it will not feel incomplete. It will not feel uncertain. It will not feel like something you have to hold together. It will stand on its own with clarity, with strength, with truth, and you will recognize it not because you were told, but because your spirit will already know, just as their spirit recognized your name before they ever knew your face, before they ever heard your voice, before they ever understood what it meant. There is already a knowing, already a connection, already a movement, and it is continuing steadily, quietly, surely. So remain where you are, remain present, remain open, because what is coming is not distant, it is drawing near. When it arrives, you will not need confirmation from anyone else. You will not need to question if it is real. You will not need to convince yourself. You will know, because what is from God carries a certainty that does not need to be explained, and certainty is already on its way to you.